Jorge, what would be the number one reason to use hard money loan to acquire one of these properties rather than a conventional bank?
Well, a lot of people still think that conventional lending is available, but it's not. It's actually, for any investment properties, it's extremely hard to get anything approved. The number one reason is because banks don't want to bother with small loans. So if you think about what we do every day, which is getting properties from $35,000 to $50,000, and let's say the client is putting 15% down or 20%, the banks don't really want to deal with that. They don't want to deal with a $35,000 loan or a $25,000 loan. So they're going to make it impossible to get it done. That's not talking about the conditions. For the most part, they're going to want the property to be in perfect shape. I mean, not 100%, 105% a lot of times. So.
I know you recently had a client that tried to go to acquire a property through a conventional loan, and something went wrong and he had to use his own money to close the deal with cash. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I mean, even in the best scenario, we felt that our client had everything that we needed to get him approved conventionally. Perfect credit, perfect income, been in the job for a long time. That's to tell you how hard it is. Even then, and we actually had control of the seller as well. Like, we knew the seller. It's one of our clients. So we had plenty of time to get the deal closed. We actually gave ourselves like 60 days. When we thought that everything was 100%, the underwriters came up with reasons to decline it. So they wanted some extra stuff. The seller wasn't really willing to wait any longer. And I really, in a way, I don't blame him. It was 60 days already. But I think the biggest reason why we didn't close it is because the motivation wasn't there. It was a small loan. So every time you send a document, they were asking for the same thing. By the time they were ready to close, they would be ready a day or two before. We needed an extension on the contract. So that was always the game. We'll say, okay, we need this by Friday, we'll get it Thursday. By the time they're going to give us the clear to close, they will say, oh, we need an extended contract. So we played that way for a long time. And property was in perfect shape. The client was a perfect client. I've been doing loans for 10 years. After that, the client, I think, understood the importance of having that available and being able to close on it right away.
All right. What are some of the main reasons why conventional banks really throw a monkey wrench into the system when trying to close these deals?
Well, I think that in general they're difficult. Whether it's an investment property or primary property, they're difficult. But think about this: if you're the broker for the bank, will you put more time into a $200,000 loan than a $35,000 loan? That's probably what happens. They figure, okay, they have goals, they want to work on the bigger deals first to get them out of the way. They're not investor friendly. They're not going to do more than 70%, 65%. Right now, really, there's no way. Banks are not approving LLCs or corporations at all. So the only conventional option you have is as buying the property under your name. And with that said, you can only do it 4 times over. After 4 times, that's it. Those are the bank rules right now. So you can only do it 4 times. But some people say, well, do I want to get the lower rate and have more liability because I don't have it under the LLC or the corporation? Or do I just want to take the higher rate and be covered? So that's another reason why hard money is appealing to some of the investors because the risk factor is also worth money.
Okay. Let me ask you this. In all the years doing this, working with investors and hard money loans, have you ever had a deal not close with a hard money lender?
No. As a matter of fact, we've actually closed 99% of every deal that we put. The only time that we didn't close something was because it was already on the edge of a very difficult deal. And it was a long time ago. Now we don't do that. We want to be 100% sure that we that we know what we're getting into. We're not going to waste our time with it.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, we're very blessed. Just like I tell people, the last state loan that we did was back in 2007. I remember that because it was Bank of America and I cried because I say, wow, what am I going to do now? And ever since then, we've been looking for hard money lending. Not until recently we found somebody that said, hey, I like your process. I see how professional you are and I see that you take care of the properties. We wouldn't mind lending you up to 80%. So that's kind of like when everything started, and they started lending us a lot more money, which at the beginning I didn't believe it. I said 80%, get back to your boss and make sure that's correct, because prior to that we'll be lucky to get 50%. But as of right now, it's been 2 years. I believe we're the only ones in Tampa doing that right now, 80%. So I would say grab it. Well, you can. I mean, there's no reason not to grab it. I mean, grab it and grab as much as you can.
What do you think about the strategy of using hard money loans to acquire the property, then, getting it fixed up, getting it filled with a tenant, and then looking for conventional banks to do a refi with better terms?
Listen, I'm not opposed to getting conventional lending. I think it's the best thing, but doing it the smart way. Definitely for property acquisition, it's a lot easier doing hard money. Then after that, let's come up with a plan. Either or, you own a couple of properties, we do a commercial loan with a bulk, or we look at conventional options. Actually, there's a few banks that recently are allowing, if you own a property in the LLC and you're the sole owner, they'll allow you to transfer it back to you and then do the loan that way. And then count the time that you own it in the LLC as part of the seasoning. Meaning that if the LLC bought it at the beginning of the year, then you really have had the property for 6-7 months. But there's a lot of different strategies. I believe that if we have hard money lending right now, the way the market is, we see the market getting better. So I can see that having hard money lenders compete for our business, which is what I'm looking for in the short-term future. So in that case, we'll have a lot of options. It's all about how many properties you can get at the bottom. Okay. We're at the bottom.
Well, thank you for your time. I appreciate you taking the time to answer these questions. Jorge Vasquez, CEO of V&V Real Estate.
Thank you, Anthony. Thank you.